Welcome to deck support. Today we're going to be looking at 3 decks, various brackets from what I've seen here. I haven't done too much looking into like what the decks actually do. I kind of wanted to save it for the stream so that all of you guys could give me your insights as we go through this. So first, let's take a look. First we have Pat. Pronouns he, him, so we'll be referring to his deck as his deck. The name of the deck is 3 Animator. The believed bracket is 2. We'll get into how I feel about decks that are constructed that are believed bracket 2, but we'll see. We'll look. So what is the goal of the deck? How do you win in practice? So what they say is this is an Esper Reanimator deck built around primarily powerful creatures with 3 CMC or less. It uses Raffine as a card advantage engine to dig for cards and pump out creatures to swing in for combat. The deck prioritizes being able to recur creatures and non-land cards from the graveyard in order to get around the downside of conniving. Okay. This sounds really sick. Okay, so let's look at the weaknesses. I would say probably winning through gummed up board states. It can recover pretty well if the board is wiped, but sometimes struggles if there are multiple. The ideal situation is protecting creatures with Selfless Spirit or Ultimate Magic Holy, then going in for the kill once everyone's creatures are gone. I've been working on putting in more creatures with evasion and ways to pump the team to stay under 3 CMC for creatures or 5 CMC spells. That's literally what I was saying, Light. I was like, I don't know if I can see this as a bracket 2, just looking at those 2 things, but let's actually look at the deck. Oh, Steven Galaxy just resubbed for 3 months. By the way, that's my partner. Thanks for resubbing. Okay, let's look at the deck. I am going to change this to visual spoilers because I think it just works a lot better. It's easier to read. Just like high level, 29 creatures. Seems about right for a creature strategy. Let me see if anything stands out initially. Let's look at the lands. 37 lands with an MDFC. That's pretty good. We'll look at the land base a little bit later and the sideboard a little bit later. But let's read what Raffine does. Raffine is Esper. Raffine Scheming Seer. Flying Ward 1. When you attack, target attacking creature connives X, where X is a number of attacking creatures. Okay, so I can see why you would want to do, I am a visual stacks. Let's look at visual stacks. Let's look. No, absolutely not. Cannot do that. No, I need to see every single card separate. I cannot see them all stacked up. Can I at least in visual stacks, can I like click a card? Oh, okay. Okay, it's not that bad. It's kind of like Archidekt. Okay, I still hate this, so I'm not doing it. Sorry, Zoe. Hi, Benji. Okay, let's look at... So I can understand why you would want to do low-cost creatures because you want to guarantee putting a lot of creatures out to get Raffine's trigger. And if it is a Reanimator strategy, you want to put stuff in graveyard with the discard ability for Connive and just make things bigger. So let's look here. Okay, Abhorrent Oculus. Okay, this works because of the graveyard synergy, right? You want to put stuff in graveyard so you can reduce the cost. And Manifest Dread also puts stuff into graveyard. I agree with this. I played in Zimone. I think this is great. Okay, can't be blocked, so good combat. Okay, that's removal. Cecil Dark Knight. So a lot of these creatures seem pretty combat heavy, which makes a lot of sense to me. I think just initially looking at this, I feel like it has a little more synergy than a pre-con, just looking at some of the creatures here. I really like this graveyard recursion. I like the Manifest Dread. I like the low cost CMC. I like the creatures being part of the removal. I'm just gonna skip ahead here and just look at the instance to see what kind of removal they're running. Anguish of Making Offer, Bluster Squall. Okay, tapping things down. Okay, so standard stuff. Path, Despark, Swords, Sink into Stupor. Okay, I think it has like a pretty good removal package with like one counter spell. And into Stupor is kind of like a sort of removal, sort of a counter spell, sometimes better than a counter spell. It can remove something that's pesky, put it back into hand, and it also can bounce a spell. And it also can be a land, so I really like Sink into Stupor. Let's go back to creatures. Containment Construct. Whenever you discard a card, you may exile that card from your graveyard. If you do, you may play this card this turn. Oh, this is so sick. You could do the Connive, discard the thing, exile it, and then play it so you don't lose it. You get the discard, you get the Connive, and you get the thing. This is really sick. I love this card. When you cast your second spell each turn, create 2 1/1 human soldier tokens, put a 1/1 counter on each creature. I guess this is like pretty good in terms of putting creatures out or buffing things so that you get more consistent combat stuff. And with Connive, you're putting counters on things, so there is a little bit synergy. Sapphire Galaxy, what do you mean by Dauthi Voidwalker? If a card, okay, so Dauthi, basically Dauthi. If a card would be put into an opponent's graveyard from anywhere, instead exile it with a void counter. Yes, okay, Dauthi Voidwalker is a pretty triggering card. I'm actually curious why they're running it in this deck. I guess it's a sort of stacks piece. I don't know how it actually synergizes with Raffine that well. It's still like a genuinely good card. A lot of stuff goes to graveyard denial for other people, but filling your graveyard could be good. We'll have to see the whole deck to see how this fits in. Enduring Innocence is so good for card draw in a deck that's running low CMC creatures, right? Usually the power of a lot of these things are entering, and they're going to trigger Enduring Innocence. This is a good way to have both a creature and card draw. I think this is really good. Oh, it's unblockable because it has Shadow. Correct. Okay, I take it back. Dauthi in this deck actually makes a lot of sense because you want to guarantee those attack triggers. And kind of what they were saying initially with their deck is that it's mostly combat damage. That's what they're trying to get in, to try to be aggressive enough. Okay, let's keep looking. Training. Dude, what's the Oracle tax on training? Because I don't know what that does. Benji, what does training do? Okay, view details. Okay, whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, put a 1/1 counter on this creature. Okay, so this makes a lot of sense, right? You're buffing your creatures with combat. I wonder, how often are you losing the creatures? Right? They're beneficial in attacking together. They buff each other. Conniving can make them bigger, right? So low cost to like big guys. But I feel like you would have to go to combat with some small guys before you would end up, you're going to lose some stuff. I guess the Reanimator sub-theme can get back the smaller ones. We'll have to see how consistent the Reanimator part is. You can remove counters from the connived thing for the pops. I don't know what that means. Oh, Taco Tony. Hey, I didn't even see you join the chat. Hello. Oh, okay. Remove 2 counters. Oh, that's what you were saying. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Oh, okay. So like alternately, right? It gets big. It removes counters. Oh, and you can remove it from any creature. So it's just like consistent destruction of artifact and enchantment. Okay, understood. Understood. Makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's look at Jace. Draw a card, then discard a card. If there are 5 or more cards in your graveyard, exile Jace, then return him to the battlefield transformed under owner's control. Okay, so we definitely get a draw and discard outlet. So putting stuff in our graveyard and draw. Okay, up to 1 target creature gets -2, -0 until your next turn. You may cast target instant or sorcery from your graveyard this turn. That card would be put into your graveyard this turn. Exile it instead. Kellerax, thanks for the follow. Hi. We are halfway through, maybe. We are some way through some of the creatures here, and so far the synergy is looking really nice. You get an emblem that when you cast a spell, target opponent puts the top 5 cards of their library into their graveyard. Okay, so it gives you some ability to like, if you connive away an instant or sorcery, you can use Jace as a way to recast it. So if you want to get the connive trigger without putting a land in there, you can re-get it. So it's like a good recursion piece. Makes sense. It's also power 2 or less, so it'll trigger Enduring Innocence. It's also 2 mana to cast, so it's in theme. Okay, let's look at Kamiz. Whenever you attack, a target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. It connives. Then choose another attacking creature with lesser power. That creature gains double strike until end of turn. This is perfect, right? Because you're going to combat with two or more creatures because you've got all this low CMC stuff, right? I am not feeling like this is a bracket 2. Oh, Kellerax, you can fill it out. If you look at the Streamlabs link, you can sign up for your deck review. Let me see if I can put it back in chat. It's like looping, but let me see if I can send it to you right now. Oh, it did it right on time. Yeah, if you would like your deck reviewed, sign up here, and then you can use the Google form. Okay. So yeah, Kamiz is like really good because you can sort of use the connive ability to buff your stuff. You can also give something double strike, which makes it a better attacker. Less incentivized, or it can remove a pesky piece if someone does block with it. It also makes something unblockable, right? And if you're trying to get in for damage, especially when you put a ton of counters on something, and it doesn't matter if you attack with Kamiz. It's just when you attack. As long as you have 2 targets, you're going to get excellent value out of this. Yeah, I think this is a must include for this. Oh, I love Lurrus. Yeah, Lurrus is just excellent in this deck, right? Because you can just reanimate some of the permanents that you end up conniving away. And you get it every turn. Yeah, Lurrus is really good. It's a shame you still have to pay for it, but it's 2 mana. It's 2 or less mana. Let's look at McCready. Oh, I used to play McCready in another one of my decks because it makes something unblockable. I used to play it in my Celestial Toymaker. I ended up removing it, I think. I don't know if it's actually still in that deck. Yeah, it just makes something unblockable. Whenever a creature you control with power 4 or greater attacks, its controller loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So you can guarantee... Oh, whenever a creature with power 4 or greater attacks, okay, its controller loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. So I guess what's more important is that the power 2 or less gains Skulk. It means that it's basically unblockable. Okay, we've got a lot of stuff that makes things unblockable, and we have a lot of stuff that's low cost. We have some draw engine, and we have removal. So that's already good. And they're all slapped on creatures right now. We have ways to fill the graveyard. We have ways to get stuff out of the graveyard with like Jace and Lurrus. Okay, let's look at Mirror Entity. Oh, this is like standard. You want to like buff your board for a big blowout turn, you can just pay X into Mirror Entity, and then your creatures get insanely buffed. Yeah, this is like a good like closer. Mockingbird. You may have Mockingbird enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield with mana value less than or equal to the amount of mana spent to cast Mockingbird, except it's a bird in addition to its other types and it has flying. I mean, this is just a good way to just get something valuable that someone else has. It's also a 1/1. It also has flying, so it has evasion, which is kind of the theme of this deck, is a lot of evasion. And it also is a low-cost spell, low power, so it triggers Enduring Innocence. Yeah. I mean, I think that this is a good include. More people should play Mockingbird. This card's incredible. Okay. It's kind of like, oh my God, what's that card? It's an artifact. And when it enters, it becomes a copy of target creature and it gains haste. I think that card's incredible too. Okay. Patrolling Peacemaker. This creature enters with 2+1/+1 counters. Whenever an opponent commits a crime, proliferate. This is just literally insane. So this is like crazy because you're putting tons of counters on your stuff, right? And you want to proliferate. You want to make these connive triggers even bigger and badder than before. Oh, hey, Madman Enjoyer. This is your deck, I believe. Thanks for joining us. I'm singing your praises. However, you're crazy if you think this is a bracket 2. I'm going to fight you. This is not a bracket 2. It has so much synergy. It's so incredible. We're enjoying it so far, I think. So Patrolling Peacemaker is just really good because people are going to try to remove your value engines. People are going to try to remove your stuff. And every time someone does that, every time someone commits a crime, you're going to make your whole board even bigger than it was before. I think this is a really good piece. It also enters with counters on it so that you can use for Hopeful Initiate to like remove something else. Yeah, I think this is probably huge in this deck. Pippin. I love Pippin. He's Vigilance Ward 1, and another target creature you control gains protection from the card type of your choice. So you can just make a really big creature, you tap Pippin, give it protection from creatures, and then it's unblockable. It also is great defensively. If someone's trying to remove something, you can give that creature protection from instants or sorceries. You can give them protection from all kinds of stuff. It's very reactionary. And also Pippin is a 2/2, so it enters and triggers Enduring Innocence. Like it doesn't seem like a lot, but card draw is going to be huge here because everything's low cost. Late game, your hand's going to be dead because you're playing out everything in your hand. So I think Pippin and Enduring Innocence are like incredible here. Okay, Priest of Felrites. Pay 3 life, sacrifice. Priest of Felrites, return target creature from the graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. I mean, yeah. You could put a huge creature into the graveyard. Not that this deck is trying to put huge creatures, but at least you could connive away at Kamiz, then sack Priest of Felrite and return it to the battlefield. Especially since people are going to be trying to remove some of these pesky pieces that synergize well together. They're going to try to remove them. Thanks for the submission, Kellerax. Okay. Psychic Frog. Discard a card, put a 1/1 counter on Psychic Frog. Then use Pippin to make it unblockable after you put a million cards on it. Yeah. And then exile 3 cards from your graveyard to give Psychic Frog flying. Yeah. It depends on how strong you can make your hand. A lot of this is draw discard, so I don't know if hand size is like big enough to discard a lot of cards, but it gives you a discard outlet. It allows you to discard whenever you would like, which might be huge for some of your reanimator strategies. Like you want to discard something huge like Kamiz to Psychic Frog, then you can reanimate with Priest of Felright. Okay, let's look at Satoru. Whenever Satoru the Infiltrator or one or more other non-token creatures enter the battlefield under your control, if none of them were cast or no mana was spent to cast them, draw a card. So this is great in Reanimator because you're not casting them, you're not using mana, and you're reanimating them from the graveyard. So you're just gonna draw cards, which is like huge, right? Like I said, in a low CMC strategy, you need a lot of ways to draw cards. Okay, let's keep looking. Selfless Spirit, sack, creatures get indestructible. You can bring it back with Priest of Felrights. You want a lot of ways to like recur the things that protect your board, because as soon as you get a lot of counters on your creatures or you put that mirror entity out and you start paying mana into it, people are going to freak out. They're going to try to board wipe. They're going to try to remove stuff. So having some protection, especially on a creature you can recur with evasion, with 2 or less power, is like perfect for this. Okay. Sarah Ascendant. Yeah, Sarah Ascendant's just crazy. It's self-explanatory. Benji's trying to, like, no, sincerely, Benji, that is the sort of thing that you would do. You would see all these counters and be like, there's a simple solution to this. There's a simple solution, and it is board wiping. Okay. Silent Hall Creeper. Can't be blocked, which is great for this. Combat tricks. When it deals combat damage to a player, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Put 2/1/1 counters on Silent Hall Creeper. Draw a card. Silent Hall Creeper becomes a copy of another target creature you control. How have I never heard of this card? I feel like Benji would know this card. Benji always knows every gas card that I've never heard of. I knew he knew! Oh, you've got Raise the Past in here. Let's go look at... Yeah. Return all creature cards with mana value 2 or less from the graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah, so all of this recursion is like perfect. And especially if you have Satoru out, you Raise the Past, you're going to get a million triggers. You're going to draw a million cards. Okay. Let's look at Sig. At the beginning of your turn, if an opponent lost 3 or more life this turn, you may draw a card. Oh, so you've got all these awesome draw engines in the deck. So something that I love to push for is recurable draw. Things that are based in your game plan that will consistently draw you cards. If you are playing a lands deck, you need to figure out a way to play a land draw card. You in a combat damage situation, having opponents lose 3 or more life, that guarantees you a draw, especially when most of your creatures have evasion in some way. You're going to guarantee yourself those draws. And especially when you can put the 1/1 counters on these creatures, you're going to guarantee the 3 or more life. Even though a lot of them start out small, your commander is going to connive one of them and make them strong enough to hit this trigger. And it's also, Sig is like also early game, so you can play it like on turn 2 and start seeing value by turn 3, depending on what you play, right? Like you play a Sarah Ascendant on 1, Sig on 2, go to combat, Sarah Ascendant deals the damage, draw a card. That's turn 2 draw. Okay. Does anyone know how to pronounce this card? I'm going to take a stab. Vinwixt? I'm going to go with Vinwixt. Vinwixit. Oh. Oh, like exit. Vinwixit. Thanks, Benji. Okay. Start your engines. You have no maximum hand size. Max speed. If you would draw a card, draw 2 cards instead. Yeah. you want a way to consistently refill your hand. That's the only thing that I see as a weakness for low CMC decks. But I'm seeing tons of card draw on creatures, which is really good, and a lot of ways to recur and protect your board from like board wipes or to get back your value. Reanimator is incredible. Okay. Vohar. Wait, let's just go back to Silent Hall Creeper. I didn't talk about how great this card is enough. 2/1/1 counters. When it deals combat damage, it cannot be blocked. So it just makes itself huge. Like, turn 2, turn 3 attack. Now it's a 3/3. Turn 4 attack. Now it's a 5/5. Then, or you can just be like, you know what? I don't need the +1/+1 counters. I've got plenty of creatures, but my hand's dead. Silent Hall Creeper can't be blocked. There's a card. Or there is a creature on my board that's insane, like Sarah Ascendant, and I would love to have double lifelink. Now it's a copy of it. It's just crazy. I don't believe that it becomes a copy is repeatable, though, because once it becomes a copy, it no longer has the ability to change. But still, you can do a lot of really cool stuff and then make it a copy whenever you want. It's so insane. Benji, I'm telling you, this deck has so much synergy so far. It's like I love the little guy strategy here, right? Go wide, little guys. It's not repeatable, but I usually copy when I've activated the rest of the abilities. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you put the counters on it, you draw a card, and then you turn it into a Sarah Ascendant or a Selfless Spirit to protect your board. Yeah, okay, and Wonder speaks for itself. You're discarding cards, you're going to discard Wonder. You're going to give everything flying, and that evasion is just huge for your Kamiz triggers. It's huge for your Rafine triggers, yeah. Let's look at Vohar. Draw a card, then discard a card. If you discarded an instant or sorcery this way, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Pay 2, sacrifice Vohar. You may cast target instant or sorcery from your graveyard this turn. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Activate only as a sorcery. So this is actually really interesting because you can raise the past, and then your board gets demolished, and you can raise the past again. That is, yeah. Okay. So we got the creatures. I think 29 creatures seems about right. We'll see how the rest of the deck balances to see if we should do more creatures. For a combat heavy strategy and a low CMC creature base, I would push for more creatures, like 33. But let's see. You have a lot of recursion here, so you're double dipping on your creatures. Let's see here. We've got Dam, which is just a good board wipe. I think it's incredible. Lively Dirge. Okay. Spree. Search your library for a card, put it in your graveyard, then shuffle. Return up to 2 creature cards from your graveyard. Mana value 4 or greater. Oh, okay. Or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So with your setup, most of Dewdrop Cure. Light, is that what card type is that? So we can look. Is it an instant? Is it a creature? Okay, Lively Dirge. So Lively Dirge is like really good because a lot of your creatures are mana value low, so you can get maybe a 3 cost or 2 cost creatures, which you're running a lot of. So it's like a really good recursion. It's ultimately 4 mana to do, and Raise the Past is just better. But it's at least giving you a second target, and on top of it, for 3 mana you can entomb something. So it's not. Oh, it's a sorcery. Okay. Yeah. Let me look back at weaknesses of the deck. Okay. So you are worried about multiple board wipes. So you've got one small recursion here. You've got a big recursion here. There's a card. What is it called? I think it's called Ascend from Avernus. I used to play it in my Walls deck, in my Arcades deck. It might be tough in a 3-color deck because it's 3 white pips, but I think it's X. Let's pull it up. Return all creatures and planeswalkers from your grave with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Exile Ascend from Avernus. This is tough because it's 3 white pips, but it might give you another target. There's another one. Is it Dusk? Dusk. I think it's Dusk. Dawn. This is another card that you might want to consider. Returning all creature cards with power 2 or less from your graveyard to your hand. It might not necessarily be quick enough for you to use then, but it actually gives you a board wipe that preserves your stuff. And if things get board wipe, you can at least refill your hand with some of the stuff from your grave. Okay, let's get back to... Reanimate is just the best reanimate card ever. I was like not running this in my reanimator deck and my partner would not shut the hell up about it. And then I put it in the deck and I was like, this is the most incredible card. I literally use it every game now. It's just like, oh, Avacyn, Angel of Hope. Okay, just reanimate. I don't have to pay for that. It's really good. Okay. Restart sequence. Return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Free running. You may cast a spell for its free running cost if you dealt combat damage to a player this turn with an assassin or commander. How often are you getting in? Oh, Rafine has flying, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, it has evasion, so this is like very likely to reanimate something for only 1 and a black. Yeah, like that's exactly what I think about with Dusk Till Dawn, is because Dusk board wipes and saves all your stuff. If someone manages to board wipe you in response, you cast it from grave, and then you just put stuff back into your hand. And likely by that point in time, you have enough mana to recast enough things, right? It's like putting your board back together. It's a little slow. It doesn't come straight back to board, but putting it in your hand's not bad either. Like, I was on your side, and then you started talking about frickin' slivers. You're like, yeah, I love it in my Esper 2-power deck. Yeah, slivers. Little guy, my ass. Okay. Savine Reclamation's a great reanimator spell. I think it's great, and it has flashback, so if you connive it away, you can cast it from grave. I think that's really good. Toxic Deluge is just like the best board wipe that I've ever seen. If you're playing black, you're running Toxic Deluge. I have no notes. Unearth. Return target creature with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So I feel like a lot of these are single target reanimator, and I think honestly, if you're struggling with board wipes, you should look for more mass reanimation. It's just, I wonder if they are in this color. There's another one that I used to run in my Arcades deck. Let me see if I have my Arcades deck in here. Let me see if I can find that card. Your decks. Nope. Do not have my Arcades deck in here. Okay. Actually, let's go to EDH Rec and go to Arcades because I know arcades. And let's go to, I think it's a sorcery. Okay. Okay, raise the pass. Ooh, that one's a lot of mana, though. Return any number of target creatures with total power 10 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Nobody worthy, thanks for the follow. Okay, Light, well, you got me there, but I also think elves are evil. Slivers and elves are evil. Okay, what is... Okay, here we go. I love this card. Return to the ranks. It says Convoke. Return X target creature cards with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you can convoke it out to get more creatures that you might have lost in a previous board wipe. You can put more stuff out. Okay. I'm glad you came to say hi anyways. And I hope work is okay. I would say I hope work is fun, but it often isn't. But I'm glad you stopped by, Nobody Worthy. Benji is... Okay. Yeah, return to the ranks. I'm glad. Yeah, I knew that there was a card in Arcades that I used to run that was really, really good here. Okay. Let's go back. Unearth, Wrath of God. I think your board wipes are good. I think if you can switch out some of these single target reanimations for like mass reanimations of small things, even Dusk Till Dawn, even Return from the Ranks, Ascend from Avernus, this will put your board back together very quickly. People will try to outrace you. You're just gonna, with the amount of cards you're drawing and discarding and filtering, you should be able to guarantee at least one of these in your hand every game. A lot of the targeted reanimation is good for big creatures, right? A lot of these are tough to like justify because you're just getting something that draws you a card or something with Skulk. You want to reanimate something big that you don't want to pay for. So I think if you can do the mass reanimation, that'll help you a lot. Okay, we already looked at the instants and sorceries. For the most part, I like the package. I like a Bluster Squall. I love this card. I love the way it just gives you an even way through. If someone's building up a nice, tasty board and has a low life total, you Bluster Squall and you just blow them out. I love this card. It doesn't work a lot and it's a little expensive to overload. But if you've already built up your board and you're just looking for a way in to finish something out, it's a good closer. Let's look at Consult the Star Charts. Look at the top X cards of your library, where X is a number of lands you control. Put one of those cards into your hand. If the spell was kicked, you may put 2 of those cards in your hand instead. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. Okay. Yeah, seems like good draw, a good ramp. Okay, Path, Swords, Counter Squall. All of this is good. I already spoke about Sink into Stupor. Love that card. Return to your hand all cards in your graveyard that you cycled or discarded this turn. I love this. This is such a cool blowout turn where you're doing a lot of conniving, you're doing a lot of discard, and then you just put everything back into your hand. You get all the value, all the triggers, and if it's a particularly stormy turn with discards, you can definitely refill your hand. That's actually really cool. I love this. I wonder if it's not versatile enough because in a worst case scenario, you only get 1 card back. So you trade 1 card for 1 card. It's not as versatile as some other cards, but if you can maneuver it, it can be actually really cool. Yeah, Shadow of the Grave is perfect for Rafine. Yeah, you can guarantee it. Okay. 3 steps ahead. Counter target spell. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature. Draw 2 cards and discard a card. I feel like you're mainly going to use this as surprise counter magic or draw 2 cards, discard a card. So you can guarantee the discard trigger and something engrave. Yeah. Ultimate Magic Holy. Permanents you control gain indestructible until end of turn. If this spell was cast from exile, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn. So, I don't know. I feel like a Dawn's Truce is a little bit better here. For 3 mana, there are other ways. Like, I guess this is like a budget choice. I feel like in this situation, like a Teferi's Protection would do the same sort of thing here. If you're not going Teferi's Protection and you want to do like a cheaper option, I feel like a Dawn's Truce is only 2 mana and it'll get you most of the way there. If you're trying to use it as a fog, Foretell is like really tough because you have to do it on a previous turn. And likely, I don't know how likely it is for you to know 1 turn in advance if you're going to die. Actually, let me look at the ruling for Foretell. If it's during your turn, you may pay 2 to exile this card face down. Cast it on a later turn. Oh, it's an instant, so you can foretell on your turn, and when it's someone else's turn, you can cast it. Okay, slightly better than I thought. What I like about it is that I can spend mana early and then cash it out, but Dawn's Truce is better in most situations. Yeah, I actually feel like being able to foretell this and being able to cast it later might be helpful, except I feel like you play in the same pod more than once, they're going to know the one foretell card that you have in your deck. And if you're just holding on to that, they're going to be a little more hesitant about how they interact with you. It might be fine. You can hold them hostage for a little bit until you can get to where you need to go. Yeah, I still like it. But I would go with a Dawn's Truce. Okay, artifacts. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a charge counter on Aether Vial. You may put a creature card with mana value equal to the number of charges on Aether Vial from your hand onto the battlefield. Oh! And this will trigger Satoru. You just put something into play. It only gives you 1 trigger. If there was like a way to untap it, you could like abuse it a little bit. Most of your creatures are not that expensive anyway, so cheating them in is not crazy, but at least it gives you a free cast. So you can put more creatures out on a single turn. You cast some of them, put some of them out. Okay, I can see where you're going with this. Bye, Benji. It was nice seeing you. Okay. Okay, Fellwar Stone. Okay. Arcane Signet, so mana, Soul Ring, Thought Vessel, Springleaf Drum, tap and untap creature. Okay. I'm curious about the Springleaf Drum. There isn't... I don't see a reason for why you would want your creatures tapped, instead of just running like a talisman here. I guess it's 1 mana, but you have to tap a creature each time you want to produce 1 mana. I guess it's mana of any color in a 3-color deck. But you want to go to combat. You want to attack. So Springleaf Drum sets you back a little bit. I don't know about this inclusion. I think like a talisman might be better for you here. Oh, yeah. Okay, I feel that. It's also like a fun card. I was like obsessed with Monster Manual because it does the same sort of thing. You just pay 1 green, tap it, put something in. It's so good. It feels so good. Okay. I don't know about Springleaf Drum. You're going to have to explain that one to me. Let Let's look at Monument of to Endurance. Whenever you discard a card, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. This is just crazy. Like, you have to play this. This is so good in your deck. Draw a card, create a treasure. Each opponent loses 3 lives. If you're playing a discard strategy, you have to play this card. It's so good. Oh, okay. Like, you're not trying to attack with Raffine. It's just that, like, Raffine is like a flyer and is evasive. So usually attacks are pretty safe. And the ward 1, it's not like people are going to combat trick you usually. And it's 1 damage. Most people are, like, fine with it. And if you connive Raffine big enough, you want that damage. Monument is so good. So good. Every time I see this card, I'm like, this card is crazier than I last remembered. True. If you're gonna replace it with a Lotus Petal, I actually feel like the Spring Leaf is gonna get a little bit more out for you because it's not a single instance. And if you do have creatures that are more value engine creatures, like I believe some of your creatures are 0/2s. If you're trying to hold some of them back, it might actually work to use the Springleaf Drum. It's just that I think you want to, if you're going to be aggro and put counters on stuff, and everything is unblockable, you want to be extremely aggressive. You want to get as much damage out before someone board wipes you. Because you can't always guarantee saving your board or even getting the Reanimator spells. Okay. Okay. Animate Dead, so good. You're running that. I love the authority of consoles here. I love this because it makes sure that when it comes back to your turn, some of your opponent's creatures are tapped. It gives you less to worry about in terms of blockers. I love this. I think it's very smart. And it also is like partial life gain. It gets you a little bit of life over the course of the game. Unfortunately, it's not like Soul Sisters, because you put a lot of small creatures into play, and this only triggers on your opponents. So you can't min-max that. Necromancy is just good. It's just another Reanimator target. Reconnaissance. You get an attack trigger. You get the attack trigger, and then you stop them from... oh, it's like pseudo... vigilance, because you can wait until after damage while you're still in combat and then remove them from combat and untap them. So it's like vigilance. Yeah, that's good. Because you're going to combat, you want blockers, you want a way to protect yourself. You don't want to like swing out to get all your triggers and then get blown out with the crackback. Smart. Okay, Unstoppable Plan. At the beginning of your end step, untap all non-land permanents you control. This is just great for Aether Vial because you can untap Aether Vial and put another creature into play. It untaps all your mana rocks. It untaps all your creatures. Yeah, I think this is a must include. Okay, I think I have an idea of the deck. I was going to do a play test, but I'm looking at the time here and I'm trying to get through 3 decks today. I don't know if I have enough time for a play test. But we are going to mosey on over to the bracket decision. Looking here at what is a bracket 2, which is what we thought our deck was. It has no land denial, no Chain Extra turns that we saw, no 2-card infinites, no game changers, and I think you have 1 Entomb effect, which is kind of like a tutor in a Reanimator deck, but it's fine. Few tutors. However, it says the average current pre-constructed deck. I think this is stronger. I just think it is. I think that a lot of the synergy here is like very viable. It's the kind of deck that goes out swinging. It's like if you don't see your draw, you might run out of gas with creatures coming out, but you can guarantee having at least 3 or 4 creatures out by like turn 5 or 6, which means that you're getting your Raffine triggers consistently. You're getting your Kamiz triggers consistently. So I would say that this is not a bracket 2. The synergy is just too good. I think that it has to be a 3. I think it's strong, but it's not crazy. I think if you go up against a deck that is a reanimator strategy that is reanimating bigger creatures than you, I don't think you stand a chance. And I think that if you're going up against alternate strategies like Burn or Aristocrats, your life total is just going to melt before you can kill a player. Like, combat is such a slow strategy that like non-combat strategies are going to get you. So I don't think that it's crazy. I don't think it's crazy. I think that it is a bracket 3 though. Okay, chat, do we agree? What are our thoughts? People in chat. I see Pat agrees with me. I think it's actually a really strong deck. I think it's really cool. Yes, always kill the burn player. Do not let them draw cards. Do not let them play spells. Do not let them do anything. Okay. Let's look at our next deck. I don't know if Ryan's in here. Ryan, are you in here? I know your deck is next. Ryan! Ryan! Okay, let's pull up Ryan's deck list. We are switching it to visual spoilers. It's called Blitzkrieg Bop. Believed bracket is 3. Okay. Okay, what is the goal or theming of Ryan's deck? Ryan's pronouns are he, him, so we will refer to this deck as his deck. This is a value deck which typically wins via combat. Strong ETB death attack triggers often advance my board despite the sack requirement. There is combo potential with Mikaeus and Yawgmoth, but I include no tutors to assemble it, so it's not the primary win con. Okay, weaknesses curve is fairly high, so a good deal of ramp and cost reduction is needed. Can be a little dirtly. Deck has performed fairly well, though. I'm just going to tell you, Ryan, just in my... Yeah, that's the thing, is that Moxfield cannot reasonably define a bracket that has a lot of synergy. It understands like the tutors, it understands the game changers, it understands stuff like this, but it does not understand how synergy can play a role into bumping something up, right? So it's always going to put everything at a 2, and then you're going to play it and realize, no, like if I played against the Gavi precon, I would just stomp them into the ground. Maybe the Hearthal precon is the kind of precon they're talking about here, but not a standard precon. I think Hearthal is just insane. Okay. Ryan, in my experience, Henzi decks are insidious. They look like they are high mana value, but you end up putting a lot of value creatures into the deck. You end up putting ways to like ramp yourself or ways to recast Henzi to get the discount. Late game might snowball is what I've seen, but let's take a look. Let's start with lands. How many lands are you running? 36. I'll let it pass. And it looks like a lot of dual colors, a decent amount of basics, a command tower, a Bojuka Bog, as you should always run in a deck that runs black. Yeah, the land base looks good. I would probably bump it up a land to go to 37 if curve is really high. Let's go look. Yeah, you're middling out at 4, and you've got, what do you have in here that's 9 mana? Blasphemous Act? Yeah, it's Blasphemous Act. Okay. What's here? Archon of Cruelty. Okay. Let's start with creatures. 35 creatures, which is what I expect to see in a combat heavy deck. Hearthful is nuts. I think that deck is so insane. I don't know. I've played like strong decks against the Hearthful deck, and lands are just good. If you put a land out and get an effect, or sack a land and get an effect, there's just nothing I can do to stop you. There's just nothing I can do. And making that a precon is just like crazy. And like the Kilo and the Inspirit precon is pretty strong as well. But I feel like Bellow as well is like a precon that's extremely strong. I think they're excellent choices for like upgrading to make high power decks. Okay. Let's look. Henzi, Toolbox Tori. Each creature spell you cast with mana value 4 or greater has Blitz. The Blitz cost is equal to its mana cost. Blitz cost you pay costs 1 less for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. Henzi is a 3/3 for Jund. We got 2 3-color commander decks with only 3 pips as their cost. So wait, Nobody Worthy, you're playing a Bellow deck that surrounds Clock of Omens? Wait, we gotta go look. Oh, I forgot to change back to the right page. Oop. Oh, your Hearthful deck. Untap target. You're going to have to send that deck to us to review. Okay. Let's get back to Henzi. So what I'm looking for here is 4 cost creatures. We're looking for attack triggers, death triggers, and enter triggers, which is sort of what Ryan said that he was looking for. Let's go look. Okay, we've got Alpha Deathclaw. When it enters the battlefield or becomes monstrous, destroy target permanent. So this is great. You get a hasty 6/6 for 4 mana with menace and trample, and when it enters, it pops something. It's already crazy. Henzi's already crazy. Archon of Cruelty. Whenever Archon of Cruelty enters the battlefield or attacks target opponent, sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, discards a card, loses 3 life, and you draw a card and gain 3 life. Yeah. It enters with Henzi, you get that trigger. It attacks because of its Blitz, and you get that trigger. So you can just destroy the hell out of someone. Yeah, and it's a flying 6/6 for 6 mana. I mean, that seems fair. Until Henzi dies, and then it's actually 5 mana, and then 4 mana, and then... Okay, Atsushi is great because Atsushi has a death trigger. You can see more cards, exile to the top 2 of your library, and play until your next turn, or you can make 3 treasures. Obviously, you're making 3 treasures because what you want to do here is basically ramp into more Henzi triggers. You want more creatures out, so you need a way to ramp on death. And then you can blitz out your Atsushi, attack with it, get 4 damage, flying trample, and then it dies. You draw a card, and then you make 3 treasures. It's low-key insane. This is already crazy. We're talking bracket 3. It's pretty crazy. And you blitz it out for 2 red. Well, 1 and 2 red, because I believe the blitz cost is 1 less. Okay. Balor. When it attacks or dies, so you're going to get both with Henzi, choose one or more. Each mode must target a different player. Target opponent draws 3 cards and discards 3 cards at random. Target opponent sacrifices a non-token artifact. Balor deals damage to target opponent equal to the number of cards in their hand. That's pretty good. You can choose one or more, so you can choose all of these and get it twice in one turn. And it's a 5/5 flyer for 4 mana with Henzi. Okay. With haste. Okay. Yeah. Balor is crazy. All of this is so crazy. This is so insane.
That's
okay.
the card that killed me at Magicon.
What?
That's the card that killed me at Magicon.
The one game you played that you lost? Was it the deal damage equal to target opponent equal to the number of cards in hand?
Yeah.
My partner is talking about how he lost a game, and I knew that it was probably something to do with hand size because he likes to draw cards. He will lose the game just to draw cards, and inevitably, I feel like that's... How many cards did you have in hand when you died?
6.
Oh, that's...
But they were playing Deadpool, so they were like copying, like making Balors and then making copies of Balors. And then,
Oh. Okay, let's look at Braids. This is great. I love a little Braids because you're not going to blitz out Braids. You're going to hard cast Braids because she's a 3/3 for 3 mana. She's incredible. And at your end step, before the trigger for Henzi to sack something and draw a card, you can sack it to Braids and force people to either sack or lose 2 life and you draw a card. So it's actually like a great little engine that you can get going. You can get Henzi out on 3, Braids out at 4. You can go to your end step with one of your creatures that you might have blitzed out. Well, okay, if you're playing Braids on 4, you might not be able to blitz something else out, but maybe turn 5 you're doing some stuff. Okay. Demogoth Woe Eater. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice a creature. Whenever you sacrifice a creature, each opponent discards a card, you draw a card, and you gain 2 life. This is incredible because you're not blitzing this out either. You are constantly blitzing out creatures that on your... Oh, but it says your upkeep. So you don't have the blitz creature. Oh, well, you just blitz it out. you pay 3 mana for it, and it's a 7/6 that dies. And then each opponent discards a card, you draw a card and gain 2. Oh, that's so sick. Oh my god, this makes me want to build Henzi. Oh man, this is so good. Oh man, I'm actually... Have you seen this card? Are you running it? My partner is mad because he has a Henzi deck, and now I want to build it. Because I saw Ryan's Henzi deck, he's mad that I wasn't inspired by his. Okay, that's actually so incredible. Oh my god. 3 mana for 7/6 with haste. When you sack it, each opponent discards a card. You draw a card, you gain 2 life, and then you draw from Blitz. People, this deck is not a bracket 3. I'm already on my BS. Like, there's just no shot. I'm looking at the value here, and I was like, you don't... Oh my god. Okay. Atali Primal Conqueror is in this deck. Ryan. We're blitzing out an Atali and attacking with this Atali. If you blitz out this Atali and you flip him and you attack, I will kill you, Ryan. I will kill you and then myself. Oh my god. Okay, so Atali, as everyone knows, enters, we flip, and then you get to cast those spells. So you can like fill your board with stuff that you get with Atali by paying him, paying less for him. I know. Oh my god. This is a bracket 2? No. He at least said that it was a bracket 3, which is like, I think it's cope. He's like, the curve is really high. And I'm like, dude, just let Hensi die. Just kill Hensi, right? Then your curve is solved. Okay. Okay, let's look at Evercoat Ursine. Hideaway 3, Hideaway 3. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, exile them face down. Okay, Hideaway. When it deals combat damage to a player, if there are cards exiled with it, you may play one of them without paying its mana cost. So I guess you will Hideaway 3, Hideaway 3. You'll only get one of these triggers because you can only play one of them. But it gives you 2 options to look for. You can get 2 cards and choose between those 2 cards to cast because it has trample, it has haste, it will literally attack, deal combat damage, and you'll get another card for free. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. This is really good. Feldon of the Third Path, you're playing Feldon so you can reanimate. You can make copies of stuff in your graveyard and get your death triggers again. And they gain haste. Oh my gosh. Okay. And then here we go. Goblin Anarchomancer to reduce the cost of green and red spells, which are the main offenders here. Goldspan Dragon for mana, haste, treasures tapping for more so that you can ramp into more blitz spells. Goreclaw, which is a cost reducer. It also puts counters on things. Oh my god, it gives trample. Gruff Triplets. Oh, when it dies, put a number of 1/1 counters equal to its power on each creature you control named Gruff Triplets. When it enters the battlefield, if it isn't a token, create 2 tokens that are a copy of it. So you blitz that out. You get 2 tokens. It dies. You put 3 counters on each of them that don't go away. That have trample. Where is Ryan? Someone get Ryan in here. Get Ryan in chat right now. He needs to look me in the eyes. Hello, Robo Ducky. What set is WOE?
Wilds of Eldraine.
Oh, Wilds of Eldraine. My partner said Wilds of Eldraine. Yeah. Demoralizing is one word for it. I need to call a hotline for what I'm feeling about Gruff Triplets in a Hensi deck. Okay. Honest Rustine, right? Okay. We're back to normal stuff. And we're out of insane territory. We're just playing good cards. When it enters the battlefield, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Oh no, I forgot it did that. Creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast, so it's a cost reducer, and it puts one of your blitz cards back into your hand, and it's gonna be a Tully. Oh no. Okay. So I should have known that Ryan was a liar because Ryan also builds a Zimone deck, and you have to be low-key a messed up human being to build a Zimone deck. I know because I have a Zimone deck. I cannot believe this. Okay, Ignoble Hierarch. That's just a mana dork. Ilharg, the Raised Boar, attacks. You put a creature card from your hand into the battlefield, taps and attacking. Return that creature to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. Let me read what Blitz says. You may cast this card for its Blitz cost. If you do, it gains haste. And when this creature dies, draws a card. Sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end step. Okay. Okay. So... got it. Okay. When Ilharg, the Raised Boar, dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it in its owner's library, third from the top. So we are blitzing in for 4 mana, a 6/6 trampler that puts another creature from your hand onto the battlefield, tapped and attacking. You bounce it back to your hand. So you get to attack with it. Well, you don't get the attack trigger, but you get another creature attacking. And then when Ilharg, the Raised Boar, dies to its Blitz ability, you put it third from the top, And then you draw a card, getting you back to Ilharg to do it again. Oh, man.
Nice.
I'm losing it. Okay, Junji is pretty straightforward. You're getting the death trigger. Each opponent discards 2 cards and loses 2 life. Put target non-dragon creature from your graveyard to the battlefield under your control. No, it's a reanimator guy. Oh, no. That's going to be Atali, isn't it? Atali's not a dragon. Oh, man. Okay. Kathak. Okay. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. If you do, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-legendary creature card with lesser mana value. Put it onto the battlefield, then put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. So, you blitz out a creature. It's gonna die. You go to your end step. You sack it. You draw a card. You go get another creature with lesser mana value. And you just put it in. You're not blitzing in Kethek. You're just playing him because the value is insane. The thing is every angle from this deck is just strong. You don't need to see all of these cards. You just need to see some of them. And you're just going to do heinous, incredible things. Oh my god, you got Kogla in here. You're just casting Kogla to pop something. And you can attack with him and destroy an artifact or enchantment. Okay. Kokusho, when he dies, drain the table, gain life. Oh my god. Mikaeus. Oh, wait. Is that the loop he was talking about? Mikaeus Kokusho? What is it? Mikaeus and Yawgmoth. Oh, because you put the -1/-1 counter. And then it cancels out the +1/+1. So your creature dies to the blitz. You draw a card. You put a 1/1 counter on it. You use Yawgmoth. You pay a life. You put a -1/-1 counter on it. And now it is just free to live its life unprovoked. Okay. Noxious Gear Hulk. When it enters, you may destroy another target creature. If a creature is destroyed this way, you gain life equal to its toughness. There's a surprising little life gain situation going on right here. Obviously, Noxious Gear Hulk is going to get blitzed out. It's going to destroy something. You're going to gain some life. And then you're going to attack with a 5/4. And then it's going to die, and then you're going to draw a card. You know what? I think I figured out what is crazy about Henzi is that every time you lose a creature that you blitz out, you put another card in your hand to do it all over again. You're never worried about card draw because everything you lose, you regain. It's so messed up. Okay. We're still in the creatures, people. We're still in the creatures. Let me just look around. Oh my god, there's an anime dead in here. Okay. Agnes. Whenever a creature you control with haste attacks, create a tapped treasure token. Oh, and it's so cheap to cast this. You can cast this early. And then every single creature that you cast with Blitz has haste. So when it attacks, it's not one or more, it's each creature. So every time you make a tap treasure token so you can blitz out more stuff on later turns. Stefan Galaxy is trying to give me a heart attack. If Deadpool is in this deck, I would throw up. Oh my god, that would be so crazy because it would enter, steal a box, and die. Oh my god. Okay. Oher Kaslim. I believe this is combat damage in a thing, right? Like deals combat damage to a player, reveal that many cards from the top of your library. You may put a creature card or a land from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. When Castle dies, returns to the battlefield, tapped and transformed. Okay, how do I get it back? This is one of those transforming guys. Pay 2 and agree and transform. Okay. Bye, nobody worthy. It's been lovely. This card is actually, pardon my French, the most fucked up card in Magic. I have so much trouble understanding how this. It is a 3. It's 5 mana, and it's a 6/5 with trample, and it has other words on it. And when it dies, it flips and becomes a land. And the ability to turn it back into the thing is just have 10 or more permanents. That's Ascend. You pay cultivate prices and you get a 6/5 trampler. And then when you blitz it out, you pay 4 mana for it. You deal combat damage. You put a creature in, it dies, it flips, becomes a land, then you pay 3, you do it again. Two mana, 4 mana, 2 lands, draw 1, get a free creature. No. There's no way that this is... there's no way this is a bracket 3. There's just no way. There's just no way. Old Gnawbone. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create that many treasure tokens. Okay. Okay, we're just putting whatever we want in a deck. We're just doing whatever. Flying 7/7? Oh, so it's getting the treasures. And you blitz it out and it has haste, and when it dies, you draw a card. So... average bracket 3 deck. Okay. Overlord of the Bailmerk. Impending. When it enters or attacks, mill 4 cards, then you may return a non-avatar creature or a planeswalker from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, so this is like a little bit of recursion. That's something that I'm not seeing in this deck, to be honest, is that a lot of your creatures are dying and they're gone forever. There's like a handful of Reanimator stuff, but it doesn't really matter. You're filtering through your deck so fast. It doesn't matter if you get stuff back. You don't need it. Every card in your deck is insane. Okay, Overlord of the Hauntwoods. And when it dies... Is this the one that when it dies, it comes back? No, this is not it. Okay, Overlord of the Hauntwoods. Oh my god, I hate this card. I totally forgot I hate this card. Overlord of the Hauntwoods is such an incredible card. You would be surprised how incredible the ramp is with colorless land tokens that are every basic type. That, oh my god, token doubling strategies, any of that, it just makes this go insane. And using this, right, it enters, you create a land, you attack with it because of blitz and it has haste, you get another land, and then you tap those 2 to cast another blitz creature. It's just insane. Okay, Professional Facebreaker, which is like more ramp, more treasure, low cost blitz target. You might actually not want to blitz this out. You might just want to cast it because you're going to guarantee that 1 or more of your creatures attack or deal combat damage. A lot of this stuff has evasion. A lot of this stuff has trample. A lot of this has menace. A lot of this has intimidate. Oh, you can't blitz it because it's less than 4 mana, I believe. Right? Henzi wants 4 mana, 4 or greater. Okay. Thank God there's a weakness to this deck. Okay. Roxanne. I love Roxanne. When she enters the battlefield or attacks, create a tapped colorless artifact token named Meteorite. Meteorite enters the battlefield. It deals 2 damage to any target and has tap, add 1 mana of any color. When you tap an artifact token for mana, add 1 mana of any type that artifact token produced. Okay, so this is like incredible because you just ramped yourself 2 more cards. You pay 4 mana to get a 4/3 that makes a meteorite on enter and makes a meteorite on attack. So that's an additional 4 damage and 2 mana rocks that you can tap for to blitz something else out. Yes, there are no weaknesses in this deck. It's insane. Actually, I might just tell Ryan that I'm building this deck. Do you think Ryan will let me net deck his deck? Okay, Solemn, Sadbot, self-explanatory. Enters, you get a basic, it dies, you draw a card, and then you draw another card for Blitz. Okay, Vaultborn Tyrant, here we go. 6/6 trample. Whenever Vaultborn Tyrant or another creature with power 4 or greater enters the battlefield under control, you gain 3 life and draw a card. Oh, so every card in your deck. When Vaultborn Tyrant dies, if it's not a token, create a token that is a copy of it, except it's an artifact in addition to its other types. So it's also still 6/6 with trample. So you blitz this in. You draw a card, you gain 3 life. It dies. You draw a card. You make a token, it enters. You gain 3 life, you draw a card. And it's just a 6/6 with trample. Okay. Okay, and then there's Yawgmoth for your infinite combo. Okay, let's look at Zayatora's Envoy. When it deals combat damage to a player, look at the top card of your library. You may play lands from the top of your library or cast spells with mana value less than or equal to the damage dealt from the top of your library without paying its mana cost. If you don't, put that card into your hand. I'm trying to understand. I can see the logic on a lot of these cards. This is slightly more hoop jumping than the rest of the cards in the stack. It's not bad. It's just not as obvious value as the rest of the stuff in this deck. This is kind of like you can play a land off the top of your library or cast spells based on the damage you dealt. Usually you're going to combat with a Henzi deck, so you're going to deal damage. So usually you can get some more free value off the top. At least you can play a land. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if this one is as strong as the rest of the stuff. Oh my god, the next card is Zayatora. Oh my god. Zayatora the Incinerator, flying. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice another creature. When you do, Zayatora the Incinerator deals damage equal to the creature's power to any target, and you create 3 treasure tokens. So, friends, comrades, countrymen, we are playing Zayatora. We are not blitzing out Zayatora. We are then blitzing out a huge creature. We're going to end step. The trigger for blitz is going to happen. You stack the Zayatora trigger. You sack it to Zayatora. You deal that damage to a person. You make 3 treasures. Then you draw a card. I'm like warm. I'm like, my body is warm with how aggressively this deck is strong. Shuck and not stirred. Yeah, it's good. Honestly, you could blitz in Zayatora, go to combat, fly, right? Deal that damage, go to end step, sack something to Zayatora's trigger, and then sack Zayatora and draw a card. It's not bad no matter which way you play it. No notes bracket 1. Honestly, if you're like, oh, I like to build the biggest, fattest creatures in Magic's history, the best cards ever to be created, I'm playing it in one deck. That's my bracket 1 deck. Yeah. Okay, Blasphemous Act, Culling Ritual. Blasphemous Act is just, it's just a good board wipe. It's just incredible. Culling Ritual. This is a great way to have a blowout turn. If you're like set back or people are board wiping you to hell, you can just late game cast this and then just make back the mana to recast Henzi. You just need to keep a little red up. Farseek, Living Death. Oh my god, Living Death. You blitz away all these creatures and people are like, we got you now. And then you Living Death and then you board wipe everything they have. And then you put all your stupid strong creatures back on the battlefield. Nature's Lore for ramp, reanimate to just get back Zayatora, or Yawgmoth or Mikaeus or any crazy card in this deck. Rise of the Witch King. I love this card because it can reanimate stuff that you sack that you've blitzed out and then just put it back on the battlefield. 3 visits, victimize. You're just cheating. You're just cheating. What's a hornet's nest? Let's look that up. Hornet's nest. When this creature is dealt damage, create that many 1/1 green insect tokens with flying and death touch. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if there's any bad cards in the deck. A Braid. No, that card rocks. Assassin's Trophy. Nope, that's good. Beast Within. Lovely. Putrefy. Maybe an Assassin's Trophy. Oh, wait, you already have an Assassin's Trophy. So the second best Assassin's Trophy is good, too. Saw in Half. Oh, my God. You blitz out an Atali Primal Conqueror. You saw it in half. You get 2 Atalis that don't die to the blitz ability, and you draw a card. Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone. What does Herd Heirloom do? Spend mana only to cast creature spells until end of turn. Target creature with power 4 or greater gains trample. When this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Honestly, you're not going to struggle to draw cards. This is just like a mana rock. And you're playing mostly creature spells. I don't know. I could give or take this card. It's pretty good. It draws you an additional card. But you have to choose to like do that or the mana ability. I don't know. It's not bad, but I don't know. Skull Clamp is just incredible because your blitz creatures are going to die and then you draw more cards. Soul Ring's an incredible card. That of Rebirth. Whenever artifact or creature you control is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, put an oil counter, pay 2 and a black, remove 4 oil counters from Vat of Rebirth, return target creature from the battlefield to the graveyard to the battlefield. Yeah. Turn 1 Vat of Rebirth is pretty good. It's a little slow and you can only reanimate one thing, but maybe late game you can get back something that you need. I don't know. This one's like on the fence. A lot of this is like turbo stuff. I don't know if reanimation is like a huge deal in this deck. I think honestly you just keep churning through your deck. You don't really need the reanimation. Animate Dead, yeah. Garruk's Uprising, give everything trample. Draw a card whenever they enter. Even more cards than before. So you blitz in something, draw a card. It dies, draw a card. Oh, it has trample, so it goes to combat, and it definitely deals damage. Greater Good, so you can sack stuff and draw cards before the blitz trigger kills them. Guardian Project, they enter with the blitz trigger, draw a card. Industrial Advancement. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a creature. If you do, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the creature's mana value. You may put a creature from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest at the bottom of your library in a random order. So yeah, you're just turning your blitz into other creatures. Necromancy's another reanimator. Riveteer's Ascendancy. Whenever you sack a creature, you may return target creature with lesser mana value from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Do this only once each turn. Oh my god, you're turning your blitz sacks into creature reanimation. Oh lordy. Oh lordy lord. Okay. And then Shadow in the Warp to discount your spells. So you discount your spells with Blitz for 1, and you discount your Shadow on the your creatures with Shadow in the Warp. And then if someone tries to counter or board wipe you, they got to take 2 for each attempt. Yeah. Chat, what we thinking? This is not a bracket 3. Let's go to the bracket decision. Okay. So let's just get it out of the way. It's not CDH. It doesn't have CDH meta. It doesn't. So it's just not CDH. It's not 1. It's not 2 because it's incredibly strong. So it's either a 3 or a 4. I'm telling you, this is a 4. Even though the curve is pretty high, there are a lot of cost reducers in this deck. There are a lot of ways to make your spells cheaper. And heaven forbid Henzi dies and you can reanimate him, right? Henzi dies and you send him to the command zone and recast him, right? That's even more reduction. So a late game board wipe just sends you to Jesus City for your next turn if you can get Henzi back out. Okay, let's look. We have no mass land denial, no chaining extra turns. I can agree with that. Late game 2-card infinite combos. Yes, Mikaeus and Yawgmoth can be a late game combo depending on which cards you get, because Mikaeus can go to grave and then get reanimated. And Yawgmoth is not that expensive. It could be reasonably a turn 6 infinite. 3 game changers. I don't believe I saw any game changers in here. I don't believe there are any. Let's look. Yep, there's no game changers. I'm going to be honest with you guys. This is a bracket 4. I'm just looking at this and I can see the synergies. I can see the way that every card in this deck is just an absolute house. It's incredible what this deck can put out. Henzi's just insane. I think honestly, if I was able to do a playtest, I could show you what I'm talking about. The way that late game it snowballs into incredible turn after incredible turn. It's just that the card draw, the damage, the treasures, all of that, it's just going to add up. Every death trigger, every attack trigger, every enters trigger is just so much value to keep people behind while you accelerate forward. Okay. That is the end of this deck. Time for the last deck. Today we are doing Shuckin' Not Stirred. I saw them in the chat. Pronouns he, him, his. So we're going to be referring to it as his deck. Thanks for the cheer. Let's look at the deck. It's called Hit It From the Backside. Oh, lordy. Okay, let's go look at what you've written. Believed bracket is 3. Explain the goal or the theming of your deck and how you win in practice. The goal is to cast Awaken the Blood avatar as many times as it can and swing in dealing damage with the token's ability and racking up a lot of damage. Weaknesses are board wipes and token removal. Okay, so like bounce effects. Okay, first we're gonna switch it to visual spoilers and let's look at Extus. It is 1 white, black, double strike, Magecraft. When you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, return target non-legendary creature from your graveyard to your hand. All 3 decks today have had some graveyard read the deck description. Extus does not exist in this deck, only the Blood avatar. Okay, so we're just ignoring Extus. Okay, let's go find the Blood avatar. What?
I think it's a two-sided card.
Oh, okay. The blood avatar is the other side. Got it. Awaken the blood avatar. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. This spell costs 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. Each opponent sacrifices a creature. Create a 3/6 black and red avatar creature token with haste. And whenever this creature attacks, it deals 3 damage to each opponent. Oh, wow. So, obviously you're playing a lot of tokens in order to sack to awaken the blood avatar. And it costs less to cast for each creature that you sack. So you're trying to put out about 3 creatures to cast it the first time to just pay black and red. Then you're looking at 4 tokens after that. Oh! So you have an artist proof? You should tag me. You post it on Blue Sky and tag me. Okay. And also, after you cast it, each opponent sacks a creature. So you're, like, guaranteed to kind of oppress the board in a lot of ways to keep them from building around you. And then on top of that, it's in Rakdos, so it's dealing burn damage. Let's just take a quick look to see if you're doing any damage doublers. Let's go to enchantments. No, I don't see any damage doublers. Let me look at the creatures really quick. Nope. Okay. So I'm guessing that you're just doing everything you can to make tokens. Okay, Elspeth, create 3 white creature tokens. Destroy all creatures' power 4 or greater. So, like, board wipe everything except your tokens. You get an emblem that creatures you control get +2/+2 in flying. Kaya, creatures you control gain death touch until end of turn. Put a 1/1 counter on up to 1 target creature token you control. Until end of turn, if 1 or more of your tokens would be created under your control, twice that many are created under your control. Obviously, you're minusing her to make more tokens when you create them. And then -6 is exile all cards from all graveyards and create a 1/1 white spirit creature token with flying for each card exiled this way. So, from what I'm seeing here, you are probably running like a Purphoros. Yep, you're running a Purphoros. Impact Tremors. Let's see if there's an Impact Tremors. There's an Impact Tremors and a Goblin Bombardment. I didn't even think about Goblin Bombardment. So you're just putting out tokens, you're sacking, you're okay. So, and then this thing makes 3/6 demon tokens. Well, avatar creature tokens with haste. Ooh-wee. Okay. I know that Tevish Zot makes thralls. And you can draw cards by sacking. Yeah, okay. You may sack another creature or planeswalker if you do draw 2 cards. Then draw another card if the sacrifice permanent was a commander. Ooh. Lolth. Whenever a creature you control dies, put a loyalty counter on Lolth. Draw a card, you lose a life. That's 0. Create 2/1 black spider creature tokens with menace and reach for -3. And then -8, you get an emblem with whenever an opponent is dealt damage by 1 or more creatures you control. If that player lost less than 8 life this turn, they lose life equal to the difference. Okay, I'm not sure you'll want to ultimate this, but I guess you just put loyalty counters on it. Are you trying to ult Lolth? Or are you just there for the 2/1 black spider creature tokens with menace and reach? Okay, Zerial. Creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain haste until end of turn. Oh, it turns 3 damage into 8. Okay, but primarily the tokens. Taco Tony, yes, this is my last list for today. Okay. Obviously, we're using Zerial to make a 1/1 demon creature token with when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target, which is really good with, Tavishzat, because you can sack that creature, deal 1 damage to any target, and then draw those cards and make those tokens. Okay. You get an emblem at the beginning of your first combat step. Untap target creature you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. I don't know if you're trying to go into combat with your tokens or more of an aristocratic, impact tremory, enters and dies sort of loop. Why is Lolth a hate magnet? I guess whenever a creature you control dies, she gets another loyalty and can ult even faster than average, right? You sack 4 of your tokens to any ability and you just get an ultable Lolth. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking. Okay. Okay, Adipose Offering enters the battlefield. Create a 2/2 white alien creature token. If Adipose Offering emerged was paid, instead create X of those tokens, where X is a sacrificed creature's toughness. Cast a spell by sacrificing a creature and paying the emerge cost reduced by that creature's mana value. Okay, so you're not wanting to emerge with a token. You're wanting to emerge with a creature. But it lets you make tokens, so if you can emerge with something big, you can value out. Blood Artist. Oh, I guess that you're gonna try to, oh no, because that's power. Okay, Blood Artist, obviously it's sort of aristocratic. When something dies, you're gaining life, you're making someone lose life. Whenever it attacks, each opponent loses X life, where X is the number of attacking creatures. Oh, okay. So like late game, you can have this out and then go to combat with 1,000,000 tokens and make everyone lose life. If need be, I can emerge with a blood avatar token for 6 tokens. Oh, yeah. You can pay the full emerge cost because the token won't reduce the emerge cost, but you could pay 6 to get 6 tokens, which is 6 impact tremor triggers. That's 6 Perforos triggers. Hey, Duke. We're steadily going through the 3rd deck of the night. And it's looking like an aristocratic deck. We've got Cruel Celebrant, which is another aristocrat piece. So lost life, gain life whenever another creature you control dies. So you can kind of, I don't see a sack outlet yet. Let me see here. Let me look ahead. We need sack outlets. Okay, we've got a Viscerous here. You know what you should put in here? Umbral Caller Zealot. Umbral Caller Zealot is like so incredible. It's like another Visceraseer, except it's Surveil instead of Scry. It's a good sack outlet. Yes, I love it because depending on the strategy, you can even like put stuff into graveyard. Yeah, the Edge of Eternity's card. Yeah. Okay. I see 1 sack outlet. We need more. Let's see. Just looking through. Okay. Phyrexian Altar. Okay, that's 2. Okay, we've got Goblin Bombardment. That's 3. Okay, did I miss one? You're saying that there's 4, but I've got 3. I've got the Visceraseer. I've got the Phyrexian Altar. And I've got the Goblin Bombardment. I don't see a 4th. Oh, okay, your commander. Okay, Awaken the Blood Avatar. Okay. I think maybe you might need one or two more sack outlets because a lot of your death triggers, I don't see how you manage them. You need to be able to guarantee. I would put maybe one or two more in. But Cruel Celebrant, Grim Hireling. Also, like, Ashnod's Altar is not bad either because then it helps you cast your Avatar of the Blood, Awaken of the Blood avatar, even if you don't have creatures to sack for its ability. Honestly, the Awaken of the Blood avatar is actually so good that you might actually not need more sack outlets because you just cast it, recast it, you sack more creatures to its ability, you just keep recasting it with the amount of creatures you have. Honestly, you might not need another one. Yeah, I think that actually might work. Okay, Grim Hireling, whenever one or more of your creatures deal combat damage to a player, create 2 treasure tokens. I mean, if you're going wide and you want to guarantee deaths, you can just swing out with some stuff and hope that they die, and then if they don't, they deal combat damage, you make some treasures. You can also sack X treasures and target creature gets -X, -X until end of turn. It could be a way to kill your own stuff. Could be a way to kill someone else's stuff. Oh my god, I love Mahadi. I love Mahadi. At the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each creature that died this turn. So you can make a bunch of tokens through various ways like Tevish Lot and Elspeth. Then you can cast Awaken the Blood avatar. And then you can sack all those tokens to its ability. And then you make a token. Everyone loses 3 life. They gain haste. They attack. Everyone loses 3 life. You go to your end step. You make that many treasures. That's incredible. And then Mirkwood Bats. Obviously, you're playing Mirkwood Bats if you're creating and sacking tokens. You just have to play Mirkwood Bats. It's such an incredible card. It's another card that I'm so surprised is as cheap as it is. It's such a good card. Okay. Monastery Mentor. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 monk with prowess. Oh, and then you're playing Mondrak. Okay, so Monastery Mentor is like huge here because you're definitely going to cast this non-creature spell, Awaken the Blood avatar, and then you're casting all these planeswalkers. Most of you don't have that many creatures. You've got these sorceries, instants, artifacts, enchantments. You're definitely gonna get these prowess triggers. You're definitely gonna get these monks. And then with Mondrak, every instance of tokens you make is 3 times as many. Moonshaker is just the way to win with all your tokens if your sack strategy doesn't work, if your drain out strategy doesn't work. Myrel is just another way to make tokens. Negan is whenever Negan enters you and target opponent, each secretly choose a creature that player controls. Then those choices are revealed and that player sacrifices those creatures. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a creature, you create a treasure token. I'm not sure why Negan's in here. Walk me through why Negan's in here. It's sort of like removal, but it's like a lot of mana for removal. Okay, I'll let you get back to me while I move on. Nayali, Sun's Vanguard. Attacking tokens have double strike. Oh, incredible. You're making so many tokens. You want the double strike. Whenever one or more tokens you control attack a player, exile the top card of your library during your turn. During any turn you attacked with a token, you may play this card. So this is like a good way to get a little card advantage and to kind of force people to block your creatures for that double strike damage. Yeah. Ocelot Pride is just an insane card. It's $40 for a reason. It's just so good. At the beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, create a 1/1 white cat creature token. Then if you have the city's blessing for each token that you created that entered the battlefield this turn, create a token that is a copy of it. You're going to have the city's blessing with the amount of tokens that you're making. And you don't have to worry about gaining life and making a cat token. You're making your own tokens. And then you're just making double that many. Whenever an opponent sacrifices a creature, you create a treasure token. Oh, with Awaken the Blood avatar, everyone sacks a creature, so you make a treasure token for each player. Is that what you're saying? Shuck and Not Stirred? Honestly, yeah. Where is a little Mayhem Devil? We need a little Mayhem Devil. Okay. Overlord of the Mistborn. You're making tokens. Pitiless Plunderer. When a creature you control dies, make treasures so you can ramp. Perforos is like enters, deal damage to each player. Whenever a creature token enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on it. Vigilance. What is Squad 3? Let's look. Squad 3. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may pay 3 any number of times. When this creature enters, create that many tokens there are a copy of it. Okay, so it makes tokens, and when it sees the other tokens enter, it gets counters, and they get counters for each other. Got it. Yeah, these guys are going to get big. And you can pay as many times. With the amount of treasures you're making late game, you can pay a lot, especially if you're sacking creatures to like Phyrexian Altar or Ashnod's Altar. You can make a lot of these guys. Menace. Pay 3 life. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, create a 1/1 black or green pest token with when this creature dies, you gain 1 life. How many instances of sorcery? So 7. I guess your commander is also a sorcery. And you're going to try to cast that as many times as possible. Seems a little slow. I think, honestly, the amount of times that you will cast your commander is probably, like, maximum, maybe 4 times in a game. So I don't know if this will make that many tokens, to be honest. Still a good card. But I don't know how efficient this token making will be for you. Teysa, death triggers are double. I believe... No, this is an attack. So, yeah, I feel like death triggers in general will be good because you've got a lot of, like, Blood Artist type effects. You've got Mahadi type effects. You've got Pitiless Plunder type effects. So, like, Teysa will double all of them. Okay, Zulaport is just deal damage to each opponent for each death, which Teysa will double. And Viscera Seer is like a sack outlet. Okay. Destroy all tokens. Destroy all non-land, non-token permanents. Oh, this is like perfect. You board wipe everyone but yourself. Farewell is just a good card. Create X 2/2 white human creature tokens with flying, with trample and haste. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to one or more players this turn, you become the monarch. Well, this is just a good way to pay X into more tokens. If you have a little extra mana, you can just pop into this to make more tokens. Yeah. You can also attack with them. You can trample with them. I feel like, depending on the Ashnod Altar, I definitely feel like you should run Ashnod's Altar for this card and for Securitron. I think you just need the colorless mana to just go a little bit further with your artifacts. Well, not your artifacts, your creature tokens. I think that Ashnod's Altar would do you a huge service if you were running it instead of Umbrocolor Zealot. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. This is just a good board wipe. You're in Mardu. It's just a good thing to run. Tempt with Vengeance. Oh my god. If they're tempted, you just make even more stuff for yourself. You just pay X into your ability. You just make a bunch of guys. The same thing with White, Sun's Twilight. You just make a bunch of tokens. And on top of that, you gain a bunch of life, and it's destroy all other creatures. So if your Mondrak is indestructible at that point, you make 3 times as many of those 1/1 insects with Infect. Robo Ducky, I feel like you should be allowed to keep it if you pay all that mana for it. Okay. And then Wrath of God is just a good board wipe. Let's look at Afterlife Insurance. Creatures you control gain Afterlife 1 until end of turn. Draw a card. Whenever a creature with Afterlife 1 dies, create a 1/1 white and black creature token with flying. This is excellent. On a turn where you have a sack outlet, you cast this spell, you draw a card, you sack, make, impact tremors, Purphoros, and you have all that mana that you sacked into like an Ashnod's or a Phyrexian Altar. Yeah, it's really good here. Call the Coppercoats. Choose any number of target opponents. Create X 1/1 white human creature tokens, where X is the number of creatures those opponents control. Yeah, you just make tokens equal to the amount of... And then you can pay extra into it to make that many more for each opponent. So for a total of, okay, 2 times 3 is 6, plus 9. For a total of 9 mana, you can make enough 1/1 human soldier tokens equal to the amount of creatures that other people control. Could be good, especially if you're sacking tokens to like Ashnod's Altar or Phyrexian Altar. I can't read this card. Let's look at the details. It's D-Spark. I personally like to run... Oh, no, you're not in green. No, D-Spark is good. Inkshield is good. Oh, Afterlife is more for my board wipe protection. Oh, so if people try to board wipe all your tokens, you Afterlife insurance and just make them all back. Inkshield is great because you prevent damage and make tokens. Path is good. I prefer to run, if you're only going to run swords or path, I recommend running swords. Because if you swords someone's commander, usually they'll gain about 5 life, maybe 6 life at the most. If you path them, they get ramp into recasting their commander. They get ramp into casting another spell. I prefer to, if you're going to only run one, I would run swords instead. Secure the Waste. Put X 1/1 white warrior creature tokens onto the battlefield. Yeah. More tokens, more X spells. Okay, Arcane Signet. You may spend mana as though it was any color. I guess that you do need a lot of mana here. So I guess, I don't know. I feel like I would rather just run a Thran Dynamo. I guess it's mana of any color, so you can use that to cast your commander again. I don't know. I'm on the fence about Chromatic Orrery. Horn of Gondor enters the battlefield. Create a white human token soldier token. Pay 3 and tap, create X 1/1 white human soldier tokens, where X is the number of humans you control. Oh my god, I haven't been keeping track of how many humans. Okay. 4th, Aerolingus is humans. These are mites. These are monks. I don't think you make a lot of... These are cats. These are thralls. These are spiders. These are soldiers. These are devils. Yeah, I don't think you're making enough humans for Horn of Gondor to do a lot of work. In a kind of, if you're playing, oh, what's her name? Not Arwen. Aowen. If you're playing an Aowen deck where you make humans like crazy, then Horn of Gondor is like incredible. It's crazy. But I feel like Horn of Gondor is your only source of, and Aerolingus are the only sources of human creation. Idol of Oblivion is just consistent card draw. Lithoform Engine is just incredible because you can double every single one of the triggers that make tokens, every single one of the triggers that sacks tokens. You can copy every trigger that you can copy almost every spell too. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. Monument. Whenever white creature spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Whenever you cast a creature spell, create a 1/1 white warrior creature token with vigilance. I don't know. A Ketra's Monument seems a little slow. I guess a lot of your creatures are white. I know that it makes a token every time you make a human. Is it a creature enters? No, it's when you cast a creature spell. So you can't even get it on ETB. You would have to cast these spells, and you don't have a lot of creatures. I think you would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You have 12 creatures that will trigger it. I think that the Oketra's Monument might need... Yeah, Duke. So what are you copying with Lithoform? You can copy an instant or sorcery. So you can cast the Awaken the Blood avatar, and then you can copy it, and you can get double the ability from just paying the discounted cost of the first one. So you can sack the creatures to the first cost and then get a copy of it without having to pay its additional cost. So yeah, you can double it with Lithoform. I think it's actually a good include. Oketra's Monument might be on the chopping block. I don't think you have enough white creature spells to make it good. It's the same thing with Horn of Gondor. There's just not enough targets. Signet, Altar is good. Rakdos Signet, Soul Ring, Talisman. Yeah, I agree with this mana base. It's very strong. You want to be able to ramp a lot, because you want to be able to put out more things that make more tokens with your X spells. Anointed Procession, yeah, you want to double your tokens. Bitter Blossom is an early token maker. Caretaker's Talent is card draw. Cathar's Crusade is a good way to just put a bunch of tokens into play, and then everything gets really, really big. Curse of Opulence. This seems a little slow for what you are doing. It just seems a little slow. Oh! Curse and Opulence on yourself. But doesn't that encourage people to attack you, though? I would have to see it played. I don't know. It seems a little slow. But it's every time someone attacks, so you could get 3 gold tokens if you enchant yourself. And if you're being a menace, which from what I can see in this deck, you're definitely obviously a menace. Yeah, it might actually work. If you can manage 3 treasures out of it and survive, that might actually be good. I think it's risky. I think it's on the edge. I probably wouldn't play it, but I can see your reasoning here. Goblin Bombardment is a sack. Impact Tremors is damage. Tokens have +1/+1 in vigilance. I guess my question is, do you find that you'll go to combat often? Because I think the stuff that buffs your tokens might not be relevant. Like, I saw the Nayali as well, that gives your tokens double strike. I can see a Moonshaker because Moonshaker just cares about numbers. You don't need to have them buffed. Moonshaker's just incredible. But the Nayali and the Intangible Virtue, I feel also I'm like not super certain are going to give you the results that you're looking for the slot. Legion's Landing. When it enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 white creature token with lifelink. When you attack with 3 or more creatures, transform. Legion's Landing. Pay to create a 1 vampire token. I mean, it's a land. It's not bad. Oh my god, you're only playing 33 lands? Okay, what is your curve? Oh no, honey. Oh no. You need to put more lands in here. You need to put more lands in here like stat. Oh no. Your lands are probably the weakest part of this deck. This deck is really cool, really fun, but I am so worried about this land base. Do you find that you're struggling? How does it function with only 33 lands? Duke, I really don't like Phyrexian Arena. Shuckin' not stirred. How it puts up results due to all the treasure sources. A lot of your treasure sources are dependent on things that you can do. I just worry about early game, like if you don't see lands. The thing is like a lot of the low cost token makers require some sort of interaction to like make treasure. I guess like my thinking is like you play like a Mahadi, right? And you're sacking your stuff and someone removes Mahadi before end step, right? Like you have sacked all these creatures and you have no mana and you have no lands. Like lands are protected resources. I think you need to bump up the lands at least to like 36. There are a couple of things that we were talking about cutting, like the Intangible Virtue and the Nayali. Maybe you could throw some lands in there as replacements. And the Chromatic Orrery might be a land, or it might just be a Thran Dynamo, so you can ramp up a little faster, because getting the 7 mana seems steep. Okay, and then Intangible Virtue, we saw this. Prosperous Partnership enters the battlefield, create 2 green and white citizen token, tap 3 untapped. Okay, this is a pretty good way to make treasures as well. I guess my only concern is like early game. I think that late game you definitely have enough mana, right? Like you have a lot of ways to make treasure. You can jump through a lot of hoops. I'm just like worried about starting up your engine and how quickly you can get there with the amount of lands and mana that you have. Revel in Riches. I don't like to run Revel in Riches. I have played this card for years, since like, I don't know, 2019, and I've never seen it actually work. People see it, they remove it. They blow up your treasures. They Vandal Blast the hell out of you. They will do anything to make sure this doesn't trigger. I have never seen it happen. I've never seen it happen. Smothering Tithe is also great. Smothering Tithe is just like perfect. Okay. That's actually a good point. I play like Shucken. I play a lot of like deterrence. Like you're saying, Revel in Riches for me is either blanks removal, which is good, or wins the game. I think that's actually a good way to look at it because the only thing about that is that Revel in Riches costs 5 mana to cast. And usually you're casting it if you want to win next turn, you have enough treasures, but it just puts a clock on you. People get really aggressive about removing your stuff. And if it turns out to be like a farewell, then you're just completely blown out. I still think that it's a good target for removal. It's better they blow that up than your Prosperous Partnership or your Smothering Tithe or your Anointed Procession or your Caretaker's Talent or your Catholic Crusade. So I think it's a good way to like deter removal. There also is like a treasure sub-theme here, which I think is really good for keeping your mana efficient with how you want to cast your Awaken the Blood avatar over and over again. Okay. It is time to determine the bracket. Okay. I'm going to say it's not CEH. We know this. It's not Exhibition. It's not. I think that it's not a pre-con. I think it has too much synergy. It's too efficient to be a pre-con. So it's either a 3 or a 4. I think I'm going to agree with you here. I think that it is a 3. I think that it jumps through a lot of hoops and it needs a lot of setup to get where it needs to go. And I think board wipes will hit you so incredibly hard, especially if you have stuff that like a Vandal Blast, I think will blow you out. I think, what is it? I can't remember the name of the spell, but it says destroy all token creatures. So like you were saying, like token removal is like a big thing. Your Mr. House deck. I used to have a Mr. House deck. Oh yeah, stuff that bounce permanents. Yeah. Oh my god, a Cyclonic Rift would send you into oblivion. Yeah, I'm gonna say that you're right. I think it is a 3. There's no mass land denial, no chaining extra turns. It doesn't have a late game infinite combo that I saw, but it has, I think I saw one game changer. I think I saw a Smothering Tithe. Yeah, it's just Smothering Tithe. Yeah, but I don't think that the synergy is so oppressive. I think that it's actually pretty reasonable to dismantle. I don't think that it's higher powered in the range where it would like the Hensi deck we saw before. I think that this might get an advantage, but I feel like the Hensi deck would be able to be more resilient to a board wipe depending on where it lands, where like I feel like depending on where you have your pieces, you might get blown out by a board wipe. Especially if it's like turn 6 or 7, I think a board wipe then would set you back considerably. So I would say that I think it's upgraded. I think it's strong. I think it has synergy. I think that it's doing a lot of really, really cool stuff. I just don't think that it's at the point of optimized, yet. Some notes that I find about the deck, I definitely feel like you need to add some lands. Even with your treasure synergy, I like worry about if you have a strict mulligan rule, I think that you will see that that you're just not seeing lands and you're going to go down cards. And on top of that, the gas is really, really strong. The CMC curve, the curve is not low enough to be as low as you have some decently expensive spells. Like you focus around 2, but the 4 is like pretty close to. So and it's all your big stuff like Mondrak, Myrel, Pitiless Plunder, Perforos. These are the cards that are going to win you the game. The same thing with Anointed Procession and Smothering Tithe. These are all your forecast cards. So I think that that's my only real criticism. I think the synergy is really, really good. I think that the token strategy is really good. I think this is a really, really cool deck. Thank you so much for submitting it. Duke, I to be honest with you, I like free mulligans. I think it's okay. I think in the grand scheme of things, you can determine whether or not your deck is stronger, whether or not you need more lands without with or without the mulligan rule. And for the most part, we're playing to have fun. And you can optimize your deck without having to use mulligans as your only guideline as to whether or not your deck is well optimized. I play in a lot of infinite mulligan places, and then I play in places where there's strict mulligans, and I have had no problems determining whether or not my deck needs a certain amount of lands. Granted, I don't play under a certain amount of lands or a certain amount of mana rocks in any of my decks, but the consistency that I've seen has nothing to do with whether or not I'm allowed to mulligan. This deck is mine. No one else plays this, so it's mine. I love that. I've never seen this card before, and I really like the synergies you've created with it. It's like a really, really fun deck. And I love that you never play Extus. You just play the backside. Okay. Let's close up for today. Thank you so much for submitting your deck lists. Remember that the stream is sponsored by Haven Games. If you're looking to buy some sleeves, board games, TTRPG stuff, Magic stuff, Pokemon stuff, you can buy a lot of that stuff there. You can use exclamation point Haven to get more information. And thank you so much for joining me today on my first ever deck support stream. Thank you all the people who came out. Have a good night. Oh wait, I should figure out who to raid into. Oh my god. People, who should we raid into? Let's go look. Who's playing right now? I think Corey might be on stream. Let's go see. Okay, we've got still MTG, we've got Benji. Oh, Benji's streaming. Oh, we're raiding into Benji. Okay. Let's find out. Raid channel. Search. Benji. The Brewer. Start watching. Oh, it looks like the game might be over, but they might be going for a second. Let's see.
Dishonor on your dehydrated cow.
Okay. Start raid.
Why? What the hell did you just call me?
I haven't pulled one of those jokes for a land being played in a while.
Nice.
I have this Frostboil Snar. What did you call me?
Okay, sweet viewers, we are reading out now.
Last or second to last turn cycle of our game here, we just did a second breakdown and things are weird. So Raiders, thank you so much for being here. Give all my people here a follow. You should follow all these people.
Do 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4 for a total of 6. Angelo Clock Tower will tick up. I'm gonna play The Parting of Ways.